have a very interesting topic on innovative assessment as far as the NEP 2020 is concerned. Now, what is innovative assessment? Innovative assessment systematically evaluates the new ideas, methods, and the products within an organization or the institution to determine their potential effectiveness, feasibility, and the impact. This process is critical for identifying the promising innovations, optimizing the resource allocation, and enhancing the overall productivity and competitiveness. Now, there are some key components of innovative assessments. Let's dwell into that. The first is idea generation and screening, that is, evaluating the novelty and the practicality of the new ideas. The feasibility analysis, assessing the technical, financial, and the operational feasibility. The impact evaluation, measuring the potential benefits, risk, and the overall impact. Now, the next aspect is your implementation strategy. Planning the integration of the innovation into the existing system is a very, very important task. Then, of course, monitoring and the feedback, that is continuously tracking the innovation performance and making the necessary adjustments. Now, let's see the importance of innovative assessment. It ensures that the resources are invested in the most promising and viable innovations. There is, of course, a risk mitigation factor which comes under the importance of innovative assessment. It identifies and addresses the potential risk early in the developmental process. The strategic alignment. It aligns the new ideas with the organizational goals and strategic priorities. It enhances the competitiveness also. It promotes a continuous improvement and maintains a competitive edge. Informed decision making is another important point of innovative assessment. It provides a robust framework for making the data-driven decisions. The NEP 2020 in India emphasizes the importance of fostering a culture of innovation in the education sector. Here are some connecting lines definitely which talks about it. It cultivates the critical thinking, creativity amongst the students, innovative assessment, and it helps identify and implement the educational methods and the tools that fosters these skills and ensuring the students are better prepared for the future. It helps in promoting the critical thinking and creativity, that is integration of technology into the education sector. The policy promotes and encourages the use of technology to enhance learning experiences, and the innovative assessment plays a very crucial role in evaluating the effectiveness of new educational technologies and ensuring that they meet the desired educational outcomes. Then, of course, there is a very important point which we would like to highlight, that is the teacher training and the professional development. The innovative assessment methods are designed to evaluate the student learning and the performance in the ways that go beyond the traditional testing. These methods aim to provide a more comprehensive, authentic, and meaningful measures of the student abilities and the knowledge. Now, let's see some characteristics of the innovative assessment. The first and the foremost is authenticity, that is the real world relevance. The task and assessment mimic the real life challenges and the situations, making learning more relevant and applicable. There is a practical application part of it which is very important for the students. The students are assessed on their ability to apply the knowledge and the skills in the practical and often the interdisciplinary context. The formative and the summative balance, that is a continuous feedback. This particular innovative assessment incorporates the formative assessment that provides an ongoing feedback to the students, helping them to improve and learn continuously. Comprehensive evaluation, it uses the summative assessment to evaluate the cumulative student learning at the end of an instructional period. It is student-centric. The personalized learning, it tailors the assessment to meet the individual needs and the learning style of the students. The student agency. This aspect also encourages the student involvement in the assessment process, including the self-assessment and the peer assessment. There is a diverse assessment methods. The first is variety of formats. It employs the multiple assessment formats like the projects, portfolio, presentation, simulations and the digital assessment. There is a multimodal evaluation also. It uses the different modes of assessment, that is written, oral, visual, to capture a broad spectrum of the student's skills and knowledge. There is a competency based aspect, the skills and the competencies. The innovative assessment focuses on assessing the specific competencies and the skills rather than the rote memorization of the content, that is just remembering the concept which was done in the class. The competency based aspect of innovative assessment refutes the rote memorization. The next aspect is your mastery learning. It evaluates the students based on their mastery of learning objectives and the standards. The other aspect today what we have to discuss is the collaboration, that is the group work, and this is the most important aspect of the innovative assessment. The new innovative assessment incorporates the collaborative assessments which requires the student to work together, promoting a teamwork and the communication skills. There is an aspect of peer feedback. This encourages the peer assessment to foster a deeper understanding and the reflection on the learning. This is technology enhanced aspect, that is the use of the digital tools. It utilizes the technology to create a dynamic and interactive assessment like online quiz, e-portfolio and the simulations. The next is your data analysis. It leverages the data analytics to provide a detailed insight into the student performance and the learning progress. The next is your reflective aspects, that is the critical thinking. It promotes a reflection and the critical thinking by asking the students to analyze, evaluate their own work and learning processes. The next aspect is your metacognition. It encourages the student to think about their thinking and the learning strategies, fostering a deeper learning. Flexibility and adaptability. Adaptive assessments, it adjusts the difficulty and the content of the assessment based on the student performance to provide a personalized learning experience. The responsive feedback, quickly adapts to provide an immediate feedback and support to students based on their needs, the equity and inclusivity. It ensures that the assessment are accessible to all the students, including those with disabilities or the language barriers. The cultural relevance. The innovative assessment designs that are culturally responsive and sensitive to the diverse student background. So, by incorporating these characteristics what we have discussed, the innovative assessment aim to provide a more holistic, accurate, meaningful evaluation of the student learning, fostering a deeper and more engaged learning experience. Now, let's go into a very important field of what are the assessment innovative methods. Innovative assessment methods are being employed not only in India but across the globe, providing an important learning experience and provide a holistic evaluation of the student performance. So, let's discuss them one by one. The first innovative assessment method what we are going to discuss today is the project-based assessment. The students work on the projects over time, applying their knowledge to the real world task. Let's take an example. The students in a science class, they design and build the model of rainwater harvesting system. Now, let's take an example from a geography class. A geography class creates a project on sustainable urban planning in the different global cities. The portfolio assessment is another important innovative assessment methods. In this, the student compile a collection of their work over a period of time, showcasing their learning journey. Let's take an example, one from the arts, another from the literature. In the arts, the student create a portfolio of drawings, paintings, sculptures completed during the semester. In the English students compile the essays, book reports and creative writing pieces into a digital portfolio. The next method is your performance-based assessment. In this, the students perform the task or the activities, demonstrating their knowledge and the skills. Like for example, the drama students perform a traditional dance in a cultural studies class. The music students perform a solo recital as a part of their final assessment. So, next method is your peer assessment. The student evaluate each other work and provide a feedback. Like for example, after the group presentations, the student in a business class assess each other's presentation, skill and the content. Like in a literature class, the student peer review the essays and provide a constructive feedback. The next is your self-assessment, which is considered to be the most innovative assessment in the present realm. The student reflect on the assessing their own learning and the progress. Like let's take an example of mathematics students. The mathematics students use a checklist to self-assess their understanding of the algebraic concepts and expressions. In a history class, the students write a reflective essay on their learning experience throughout a course. The next method is your collaborative assessment. In this method, the student work in the groups to complete the task and are assessed on their collaborative output. Let's take an example from social studies. The students collaboratively create a documentary on the local historical event. In an example of science, the science students work in a team to conduct the experiment and present their deep findings. The next method, which is most important, is the digital and online assessment. The assessment conducted using the digital tools and the platform is the most famous innovative assessment in the present realm. Let's take an example. The students take the interactive quiz on a learning management system, which we call it as LMS. Another example, the students complete a multimedia projects using the online tools like Prezi or the Google Slides. The next type of assessment method, which is innovative and good, is your gamified assessment, that is using the game method. This particular method is very engaging for the students. In this, we incorporate a game element into the assessment to engage the students. Like, for example, the language students use a quiz app with the points and the badges to reinforce the vocabulary learning. In the history class, the students participate in a virtual scavenger hunt to learn about the different historical event. The next most important type of method, what we are going to discuss today, is a simulation-based assessment. The students engage in the simulations that replicate a real-world scenario. For example, the nursing students use a medical simulator to practice the emergency response technique. In the business class, the business students participate in a virtual stock market simulation to learn the investment strategies to increase their profit. And next important aspect is your reflective journals. The students maintain the journals where they reflect on their learning experiences. Let's take an example from a psychology class. The psychology students write weekly the reflections on their observations during the fieldwork. Now, in the simulation-based assessment, another example is the education students. They keep a journal documenting their experiences and the insights from teaching practices. The next important method, what we are going to discuss, is the concept mapping. Now, what it is? The students create a visual representation of their understanding of a topic. Like in the medical, the students create a concept map to illustrate the human circulatory system. In the sociology class, the students develop a concept to explore the relationship between the different social theories. The next important aspect what we are going to discuss is a competency-based assessment. As the name suggests, we understand and assess on the basis of the competency which is acquired by the students. So, the students are assessed on their mastery of a specific skill or the competency. Let's take an example from the engineering. In the engineering, students demonstrate their competency in coding by developing a software application. In the another example from the nursing class, the nursing students, they show a proficiency in the patient care techniques through a practical examination. In both the examples, we have seen that we understand about the assessment of the students on the basis of the competency and on the basis of mastering of the particular skills, what they have gauged and what they have learnt during their academic training. The next and the last aspect what we are going to discuss is your field work assessment. In this, the students are assessed based on their performance and the observation in the real world settings. Let's take an example from the environmental science. In the environmental science, the students conduct a field work to assess the biodiversity of a local ecosystem. Another example is from anthropology, in which the students perform the ethnographic research and are assessed on their particular field notes and the analysis. So, we have done today so many new aspects of innovative assessment, which is a part and parcel not only of NEP 2020, but we are actually following the footprints so that we are in the frame of the global field work and we are on the level playing ground as far as our global counterparts are concerned. Thank you very much.